Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody in the comments so far. Thank you for your patience. I know we're a couple minutes late here, but we will get rolling. Welcome, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Pajama Party Profits. Love it. What's up, Jennifer, Dwayne, Zach, Bart, Teresa, Ross? Look at this. What a great crew. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We've got Mr. Shaun Clark from Highlevel himself with us here today. What's up, Shaun? Thank you for joining us.
Not much. Hey, everybody.
Timothy Miller says, my two heroes. Thank you, Timothy. That's nice of you. Can't wait to see you again in October in Dallas at Level Up Summit, which I know everybody's planning on attending because that's going to be incredible. What's up, Clay? Good to see you, sir. I am, Shaun and I were just talking a little bit here before we went live. I am coming to you guys from just outside of Barcelona, Spain today. And I got here very early this morning. And so I'm jet lagged and all that good stuff. So this is like my 17th espresso coursing through my veins. So I'm simultaneously
about to like, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You're like, no. You have something like this big?
Yeah, about to fall over on my face on the keyboard and also like just completely wired with caffeine energy as well. So, yeah, I came here for a quick trip. I've got a very good friend, longtime friend from business school days, actually, who's from Barcelona here, who is celebrating his 50th birthday. So I flew in as a surprise to horse around with him for a few days to celebrate his birthday. So super excited to be here. And I love technology. I love how technology allows us to connect with everybody, but I also love how it allows us to be wherever we want to be and continue and, do our work and connect with our customers and all that good stuff. This is definitely one of those occasions. And I don't know about you guys, but I get so much done on a international flight that it's a week of work for me that I get done on an international flight because you just, you've got nothing distracting you. You can just sit there and do your thing. So that's what I did.
Wish I was that productive.
Or you can watch 7 movies.
I don't know. I think I look out the window the whole time pretty much. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Awesome. I'm flying.
Well, welcome everybody that's here. Sagrada Familia. Yes, absolutely. Ross, that's cool you were here. Yeah, that's an amazing one. Awesome. Good to see everybody. Good. Alexa's blown away with the town hall updates. Yes, the Highlevel crew is doing an incredible job keeping us all informed and productive. And that's what today's call is all about. We're going to pick the brains of Shaun Clark here. Anytime we get the opportunity to, I love to do it because this guy has the view on the industry that nobody else can possibly have right now. And the pace at which Highlevel is developing and creating new features and creating new or not necessarily creating new strategies, but the ability to capitalize on strategies in ways that we haven't been able to because now we have technology and tools to be able to do it. It's just awesome to get some inside scoop on what he's seeing, what he's doing, what he's got coming, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and do it. So you guys, you know the routine here. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in. We will get to them. We'll do our best to get to all of them or get to as many as we can. And I will generally do it in order. And I will kick things off with a few questions myself here that I've been wanting to pick the brain on. So, Shaun, we talked about this last time some, but I've also heard some additional or seen some additional comments from you related to this since then. And I want to continue to kind of pick on this a little bit. And that is this idea that, or I guess not just the idea, but the proof that you were seeing in the marketplace of the agencies that are having real good success, getting started fast and getting profitable fast by really just selling broadly in terms of the types of businesses and doing it right in their backyard in the local market, because that is definitely counter to, I think, what, definitely one of the things that I've taught over the years is focus on a niche. And I know there are other people out there who are really stressing that, but you're saying what you're seeing a lot of people have is success with getting up and running quickly, just right in their own backyard. Is that right?
Yeah. So let's take this all the way back to the beginning. So when we first started Highlevel, and I'm just getting on with agency owners, and I honestly don't know anything about the industry, and I'm just trying to sponge it all up as much as I can. Right. So I remember I would get on and I would start asking like really simple questions, but they'd always be the same. It'd just be like, who are you and who do you serve and what do you do for them and that kind of thing. And then I would start to ask like, well, okay, cool. So like, do you have a good business? Do you like it? Do you feel like you're making a lot of money? This and that. Do you have, do you have high churn rates, et cetera, et cetera. And even in that time when Highlevel didn't have SaaS, we didn't have, nearly the feature set we do today, all of that, it was still true to the person that if you said, I'm a local digital agency in, Poughkeepsie or whatever, the likelihood that you said I have high churn and I'm losing clients all the time was almost zero, really almost to the person. And then everybody who said, oh, I'm niched out in blah, immediately churn was super high. And over time and in fact, actually, we went on probably a 3-year odyssey creating a white label services backend in our company specifically to try to address this, because what I was sort of trying to figure out is, okay, well, how can I solve for this, right? And when I looked at what the local folks were doing, it felt to me, at least at first, that they were just providing more services, right? And so I thought, well, if I could help the Facebook ads people focus on dentists do more from a service perspective, maybe that's the missing link. And, over time, what I actually realized is that has nothing to do with that at all. It's certainly true that local digital agencies tend to have a broader service set, but I think that's just simply an impact of their customers asking for more and then wanting to fulfill that. But I truly think that it's actually more about that local presence and connection. It is a psychological effect. And I think this is where people get thrown, because a lot of life is all about 1 + 1 = 2. It's very logical. And so, I think a lot of people really try to solve problems that way. And some problems are great that way. Engineering problems are fantastically solved that way. But if you're dealing with humans, we're this weird, funny thing where it's like, we'll tell you we're logical, but in reality, we're very emotional. And so I think a lot of times, if you can create a bond of trust, you may not be the best provider of X, but you might be but I think also the other thing is I find there are some people in life who expect 100% or 0. It's like you get one of the two, but in reality, most of us are pretty happy with 50% or 80% or 70%. And I find these local providers have this beautiful mix of trust plus 70%. No, they're not as good as the person who specializes in the dentistry, but guess what? They'll still win every time. They'll still keep the customer for life, because the fact of the matter is they could come down and see you when there's a problem, because there's always going to be problems. And so all of that really, truly, honestly, I believe is the reason for this. And so as I've started to see SaaSpreneurs come out and we've watched this business model come forward, it's yet again the same thing. It's a different product set that has a different, I think more honestly, a more scalable sort of business motion to it. But the selling locally is still the same concept. So I sort of think about it like this: selling locally, no matter what it is, still creates a lot of trust. The reason we push SaaS is because of its profit margins and its scalability. But whether you sell SaaS or agency services, I still think that local connection is massive.
Yeah. I've got a couple of thoughts on why this is as well, based on my days in IT, because in IT, in every city, there's X number of local IT service providers that have been there, that are doing, they're not necessarily that big, and that's all, kind of subjective anyway, right? But they're oftentimes, they've been there forever and they're quite profitable. And I think one of the big reasons why that is that, and you mentioned a little bit like the rhythm and the cadence of the business and stuff. Typically, when you are selling locally versus what I did with Kutenda and others have done as well, is if you focus on a niche and you go, across the country all at once, then typically what you're doing is you're looking for a channel that allows you to get to all those customers fast. And that's awesome if you are prepared for it operationally, if you are prepared for it financially, all that good stuff, because then you can grab a ton of customers fast. And again, if you're prepared for it, then you can at least keep a good enough percentage of them that now you've got a rocket ship of a start. But most agencies are not in that position. Most people are starting, it's just them. They're starting usually with super, super lean budgets. And I think that when you sell just locally, it slows it down. That rhythm slows down. And I think that also, because of that trust factor, because of the confidence of selling locally and being in your market and connecting with people and stuff, I think that you attract businesses that the relationship just, I think, it tends to be a little bit more stable from the get-go. And so you only get one, two, or three of them, but they stick. And then you get four, five, six, they stick. It takes a little bit longer to build up, but then once you've built up, now you've got these customers that you're 7 years down the road, and it's still like, oh, I still have those first 10 or 11 customers or whatever it is. They're still with me, and you have that nice solid foundation. And I think yeah, my guess is that in the agency space, that is a lot of what you're seeing. And the big difference now too is that with Highlevel, with the automation, the recurring revenue that now you can build into this, that is not based on time and talent, that customer base doesn't have to be real big for you to end up with a nice lifestyle business and a nice, solid six-figure income to the owner. So
Yep.
I don't know. It's interesting because my perspective on building businesses has definitely changed from in the early days of Silicon Valley. Like the only thing that mattered was, were you going public, and
Yep.
which VC was investing in you and how many millions of dollars, right?
Yep.
And I quickly burnt out on that, and it became all about, well, how do I build a business that gives me a lifestyle that I want, that's cash flow positive, that I can control, I can make decisions on, and not feel that constant pressure of just growth, 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 raise money, that type of thing. And I think that that's what the far majority of people want anyway when they're starting their businesses. And so,
Well, and here's
looking
what's fun
for
about
that,
this. It's not a limiting decision. So if
right?
you start local and you get 100 local businesses and you're making really good money and you
Yeah,
say, all right, I'm ready for world domination, you don't have to stop serving the people that you're serving, right? You can
yeah,
just continue to scale up at that point. You can go national, you can go niche, you can do this and that. But I just think for the vast majority of people that I meet where they're at in their journey,
yeah,
if I say, hi, do you have 100 clients? No, you don't. So if you want to get from 0 to 100, the safest way, in my opinion, to do that is to start local. You get a lot of
yeah,
advantages. Knowing what the weather was last week, super big advantage, right? And
yeah,
I think that going back even to your MSP example is a great one. If I'm a local business and I have an existing relationship with an MSP, and some other MSP is calling in from 7 states away, what is the sales pitch that they are going to have to drum up to somehow unhinge me from this person that locally has already served me hopefully reasonably well? I can call pretty much on a moment's notice and get down to deal with what I perceive to be some huge issue, versus this other person who's 7 states away. What are they going to do with that when
yeah,
that I have that big issue? I think it's a very hard thing to unhinge. And so, yeah, the stickiness
yeah,
factor there is massive. And again, there are still, and even when you get into scenarios where you say, well, I want a one-to-many strategy, there are one-to-many local strategies too. Things like chambers of commerce, BNI kinds of things. I even met somebody who was running their own events. So they were literally putting
totally.
on local marketing events, and they would draw
Yeah,
people in this way. And Constant Contact used to do this. They said
yeah.
it was their number one channel
Number one
for
channel. Yeah,
customers. And so call me
yep,
on the day that you get any kind of mass here, and don't worry, you can keep on trucking.
yeah,
But for the vast majority of people who are just getting started or have less than 100 customers, this is the way I would personally go to create the fastest chance of success that's sticky, sustainable, and scalable.
yeah. I think that the sales tactics should absolutely change. And I think it's interesting, right? Because we've gone where the excitement was like so 100% online. And so everybody was just like, how do I do everything with Facebook ads and Google ads and webinars and all that type of stuff? And of course, we still want to leverage all of those things. But since, everybody went through what we went through over the last few years and stuff like that, all of a sudden, real relationships, meeting somebody for coffee again, face to face, knowing that somebody is just down the road from you, all of those things have a lot of value again, because people are looking for human connection again in a big way. And so if you do all those things, Facebook ads, Google ads, all that good stuff, but you also do host your own lunch and learns, go do a presentation at some local, industry trade group, or chamber or whatever it is. Now you have those human connections, and it just does so much for trust. It does so much for relationships. I know, gosh, who was it in our group this last week? Somebody was showing that they were sponsoring their kids like school newspaper thing that was getting handed out at all the the games and stuff like that. Like
There you go.
those types of things, one, don't cost a lot of money, and two, they do create that relationship connection that you just don't get from a Facebook ad from the unknown company across the
Oh
country.
yeah.
That's for sure.
And the good thing is you can run, and this is the fun thing about ads. You should run a ton of ads. You should just geo target those things.
Mhm.
So, and then you can afford to spend a lot more, by the way, because
Right.
and I think it's so interesting because it's about what is thought of as being locally consumed versus not locally consumed. And I think it's about a paradigm shift here. So no one thinks, oh, I'm going to go hire an online dentist. Like, how's that going to work? Well, it's not, right? So I'm still going to Google, but I'm looking for ads that talk about my area. I'm looking for resources in my area, people with reviews in my area, right? And I think it's this paradigm shift that, at least for software, I think that what we're seeing is, think about small business software, CRMs, funnels and websites and this and that. A lot of this stuff, it's been around for a while. It's not a radically new concept. And so now it's about changing of a consumption pattern. It used to be that you would assume that one must phone up some company far away and probably in San Francisco with hundreds of millions of dollars in VC, and that's how you bought software. But I think that these days are changing. I also think that software is just a tool. It's like a hammer or a saw. So if you buy it buy it on Amazon, get it shipped in from San Francisco, but eventually you got to use it. And how many people know how to use these things well? They don't. But they still need someone who can help them use these tools, or preferably even do this for them, right? And so as a result, you would prefer a local partner because you yourself are local. Just face it.
Yeah.
If you're a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or a plumber or a tire shop, you're serving local communities. And so having local vendors, and this is not at all weird or strange. Every dentist has Patterson Dental drive a van up every day to deliver their local dental supplies. Even though Patterson is a global company, they still drive a van up to drop off local supplies. That's how it works, right? There's a lot of product. In fact, Lennox, who sells HVAC equipment to every HVAC person on the planet Earth, does so locally. They have local sales teams and they have local training centers and regional this and that. It's because they know that in order to create trust, they know that HVAC guy is out at the job and something's going wrong. He wants to call the Lennox local dude and have him jump in a truck and come help him, right? So that is how all of this gets done. And I think we're seeing the shift in software. And I think this is a huge advantage for people in terms of actually selling this and creating great businesses around it versus having to try to do this at some national scale, which is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah. And I think that with the target audience that we're selling to in most cases as well, the tools are not the thing. The tools are the thing for us, and they're the thing that ultimately will get the result for the customer. But they don't know that they're looking for a specific tool. If they did, they would already have the tools. The tools are all out there.
You're so smart, Mike. And I think this is like such an astute point. Like you got to double click on this point. So everyone on this call, we're going to talk about tools because you're the professional, right? You're supposed to know about the tools and use the tools. But for gosh sakes, don't talk to your customers about tools. That's the worst thing you can do. When the last time a plumber came to my house and said, hey, let me show you the wrench I'm going to use and the brand I chose, and let me talk. And first of all, I wouldn't want to hear it. And second of all, it would open up the door for me to opinionate on something that I have no freaking clue how to opinionate on. But I don't know. I'd be like, oh, well, I think Makita is better. Like, who the hell cares, right? Like, so at the end of the day, remember, your mission is to solve a problem. And this, by the way, is so important because this is how you will decimate the competition. The local service only non-SaaS agency, all they're going to do is talk about services. They have no tools, right? So you're going to beat them there. The super mega corp with billions of dollars in funding, they only sell tools. They don't sell outcomes. Go ask them. Go call Salesforce right now and say, hey, I need to make money with my business using your CRM. Can you show me how to make money? They're going to say, no, we sell a CRM.
Right.
So this is where you come in to just crush the competition in the middle. And you say, hey, listen, we create outcomes for you. More 5-star reviews on Google, more customers walking through the door, booked appointments on your calendar. Like, these are the outcomes we create. Are you interested in those? And that's exactly where you stop. Do not get into the tools debate.
And that is why, not to toot my own horn here, but I will, the R4 sales system or some other strategic sales system where you guys have to learn how to have a conversation where what you're talking to them about is their business goals and their business challenges and the gap in between there and what that is costing them, and be able to have that conversation so that you don't sit down and talk about bits and bytes and features and all that stuff. You can't get down in the weeds there. If you get down in the weeds there, you're stuck. I stress this point that when I sold IT services and I built that first business up, I knew nothing about how to fix a computer. And it was my biggest advantage in the industry because all of my competitors were IT guys who knew how to fix computers. And so when they would sit down to sell, they would sit there and talk about technology. And I couldn't talk about technology because I didn't know anything about it. I could just sit down and go, hey, I know you need to be investing in this stuff to make your business better and more profitable, right? Yeah. Your competition's doing it. Yeah. You're falling behind. Yep. Great. Let's fix that. Because I didn't know the other stuff. And so the tendency to get caught in the weeds is a big, big problem. You've got to learn how to elevate that conversation out of that.
I'm telling you. So first of all, almost everything I've ever figured out about this stuff, I stole from Mike. So you should listen to him. He has brilliant advice here, and he totally nailed this. And for the record, all Highlevel really is like a copy of Kutenda just a couple years later. So I really stole everything from Mike. But if you really want to see this today in real life, walk into an Apple store, right? And pick a computer and just say, hey, listen, tell me about this computer. and listen to the sales pitch. And then immediately drive to Best Buy and pick a computer and ask the person to do the same thing. And I swear to you, it will blow your mind. The Apple salespeople are ninja trained. They never say, well, this has 486 gigahertz of RAM and 512 SD, and it's gonna, it's got 20 hit gigajoules, and it's gonna take, all this other stuff, these nits and all this. They don't quote any of that stuff. They say it's got a super beautiful screen. You can take great photos on it.
Let me show you how to take the best picture you've ever taken in your life. Look, we're gonna make your profile picture so beautiful.
Movies on it. It works with your iPhone, like all that stuff, right? That's where they sit and focus. And and if you get nerdy about it, do they have top hardware specs in all their devices? I'm sure they do, but they don't care because they know that that's not what sells computers, right? Versus you go to Best Buy, and in fact, you can probably ask them about the same computer because they sell Apples there now. I guarantee you'll get the different sales pitch. You'll have someone who's way more into bytes and RAM and gigahertz and everything else that you don't understand as a consumer. And that's why Apple dominates, in my opinion, dominates the industry. They can have someone who's never used a smartphone walk out of that store taking photos and uploading them to Facebook versus, even though I'm a diehard Android guy, I good luck, right? It just doesn't happen. And this is how so this is what you're really doing as an agency. And in my opinion, as a SaaSpreneur, when you're really wanting to dominate and create a great business, you're creating outcomes using tools without spending a lot of time talking about the nitty-gritty aspects of those tools.
So sell locally, get the fast start here. Sell locally, do a combination of in-person sales tactics and in-person marketing tactics, presentations, things like that. Back it up though with all of the great ads, automation, retargeting, so that you're staying in front of people all the time. And of course, value-added content out there as much as possible. And then sell with a framework of helping them accomplish their business goals, showing that you understand their business challenges, and then the delivery and what specific things that you then turn on or off in Highlevel, activate for them, whatever. That is so secondary. And that's, I have this conversation, and man, Shaun, you must have this conversation 10,000 times a week because I have it 100 times a week. And that is what exactly should I have in this package And it's like, my
Right.
gosh, guys, like you can sell, close a deal, deliver successfully, all that stuff without ever getting into the details of what's in this package. Here's what's in this package: $497 a month, and then go
Yeah.
solve the problem for the customer and let it run forever. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
your package.
and I get the question all the time, like what features? So I've just decided it's just one. It's just start with missed call text back. If
Yeah.
anybody wants one, that's the one I'd choose. And why? It's simple. Everyone knows how to get phone calls. They get phone calls over as a phone system. And all of them, if you say, if you say, hey, and don't ask them if they miss calls, because that's the worst question, because they'll say, oh, I never miss a call. I'm super
Yeah, of
perfect.
course not.
But
We
you
follow up
say,
on everything
have you
perfectly.
ever called the business and had them
Yeah.
miss your phone call when you were trying to call and give them money and hire them? And everyone's like, yeah, I called Bob last week and he was terrible to pick up, blah, blah, blah. You're like, well, that actually happens to 99.99999% of American businesses. And the people who are calling, they're actually calling to hire you. And so if you miss a call, that's real money. So if I could solve that one problem for you, I bet you I could put it in your business 10,000 extra bucks this month. How's that sound? Well, that sounds freaking amazing is what that sounds. Great. And so $10,000, $497, the math's real simple. And then you can always add features from there. But again, yet again, focused on outcomes and building up and all this other stuff. Because again, you don't want to say, well, do you want web chat? Don't ever ask them anything. Just say, listen, this is what I do to accomplish this. And I really think about industries that I am participatory in as a consumer and honestly have no knowledge of. I have to tell you, it is all about trust for me. Every time I was just talking to a mechanic recently, and I have no idea how he does what he does. I just focus a lot on, do I trust this guy? And if I do,
Sure.
well, then everything, what parts he wants to use or tools he wants to use. Well, thank God, because I'm just really interested in making sure the vehicle works. That's it. And so ultimately, I think that's the role you play for your customers. And if you want to know the one thing they all want more customers. So, and what have they all been pitched? Let me give you a hot tip: ads. So if you want to find ways to get in the door, find things that don't require buying more things from an ads perspective. And honestly, if we look at most small businesses, they already have phone calls. They have visitors to their website. They have people looking at them on Google My Business. So if you can capture at those 3 points,
just capture. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Web chat widget for the website, GMB chat,
missed call text back.
Missed call text back. And also the other benefit to missed call text back is because we integrate with Google My Business and automatically swap the number and all this, you get a lot of data, right? Like, how many calls are they getting on Google? It's not the stupid Google report, because the Google report just tracks the click on the call button, right? You'll actually know how many people actually call those numbers, and then what time of day and how many they miss and what their average call length is. A lot of data that a lot of businesses don't even have today, which would radically help them improve right there.
That's right. Yeah. So I will put in the description of this video down below here, I will put a link to the other video that is up here on YouTube of mine that's got the 4 fast start services, because I love the simplicity of what Shaun is saying with the missed call text back. I personally like to have a few more tools in the toolkit, just so if that customer is stuck on that one point of, oh, we don't miss calls, or we're not changing our number, or it's amazing the objections that you get around that. That we have a couple of other things that are very, very closely related, and I think Shaun hit on the right messaging there, which is, hey, there's already things happening here. We just need to make sure we're capturing it better to convert more of it into business for you. Right now, you've got people coming to your website, but you're not capturing them with any sort of lead capture form, right? You got people calling, but you're missing calls, and you don't have a way automatically to get back to them. There's people commenting on all of these things, but you don't have a universal inbox to see them or respond. So you're not getting it to it because nobody's getting around to all their various social platforms and responding. So you've got these different tools that are all very related. And by the way, with all of those things, you're building your own list now that we can use to actually be able to market to your customers, because most small businesses aren't building any sort of list and proactively marketing either. So have these are all very, very simple but incredibly powerful things that you can just get right. You can get implemented so fast using Highlevel and really start delivering value to your customers quickly. So keep it simple. Keep the conversation at solving problems and helping them achieve their goals. And then you've got this incredible toolkit that you can decide exactly which features and which buttons and all that good stuff that you turn on at that particular time to help your customer best. But you're in an awesome situation to do that when you have the right conversation. So
The other, I wanted to
cool.
talk about one other quick thing, and I just was going to show
Yeah.
this to people.
Yes.
So I had a software company that used to make people literally millions of dollars, actually, for free, because what they would do is they would
Hey,
show
Shaun, real
up.
quick.
Oh yeah,
I was just gonna say, are you trying to show a screen or?
I'm going to in a second. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
doing
Sorry,
my,
sorry.
I'm
Just
doing
want
my
to make sure.
run up intro
Oh, okay, cool.
killer speech to my click, like learning how to click the right share button.
Got
Here,
it.
hold on.
There it is.
I got it right here. Here we go. You can see it,
Cool.
right?
Now we can. Yep.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so I used to actually hold on. This is great. All right, I used to run this company, and ultimately what it did is really simple. It would connect your QuickBooks or your Xero accounting system, suck down your past due invoices, then send out a bunch of emails and texts to people who owed you money. And it was amazing what I found. So I would have lawyers, your average run-of-the-mill lawyer, walk through the door, $1 million in past due receivables that are like 60 plus days old. And the problem with the lawyer, right, is in one minute they're supposed to be kind of your advocate and your friend, and then in another minute that you owe them a lot of money. And so they're very hesitant to run you down this way. But so basically this thing would send out emails and have a green button that said pay now, and it would collect money like crazy for small businesses. But here's what I learned. I learned that I could have months where I would collect 100 grand for someone. They would pay me 49 hot bucks for this product, and then they would cancel. And I was furious with them because I thought, I just felt so robbed. I was like, look, I made you 100 grand and for $49, like, what is your problem? And they said, oh, you know what? I had no idea. So what I learned in this was that they lacked visibility and reporting. And here's what I did to change that. I created this thing called the daily success report, and it would go out and it would literally or weekly success report. It would go out, it would actually tell them how much money I made them. And overnight, my churn vanished. I'm talking just disappeared. And it was amazing. And so what we did is we've recently added this same concept to Highlevel. So back to this idea of providing good information to your clients, you can now actually email out these reports. This is just the internal sort of view of this where you can see this for yourself, but you can actually have the system automatically send out these reports to clients on a weekly basis, just showing them stuff about their business, some of which you are handling and some of which you are not. But it gives them so much information in terms of how many Facebook, conversations are they having, how many SMS conversations are they having, how many appointments are they booking, that kind of thing. And I think just being present like that and being the person giving them that data has massive value just in terms of showing that you're there, you're doing something, you're present for them. And I think it will have a big impact in lowering your churn as a SaaSpreneur. So just something I wanted to intro out to everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so with Everon in particular, our IT services business, our daily scorecard was one of the primary differentiators of how we sold and serviced and kept our customers.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Daily scorecard. And for us, it was all manual, Shaun. I had everybody on the team. They had 3 numbers that they were responsible for collecting and putting into a spreadsheet, a Google sheet. So that way everybody could see it and we would share it publicly. We would publish it on our website so that people could come and see our performance metrics every day. And the thing is that small businesses, most of them don't have insights. They don't have data. They don't have most of them don't even have the time to even sit and think about this stuff. And so, they call it insight selling. When you can be the person that can get somebody to see a new thing for the first time, get a new perspective, get a new insight from this data about their business. Now, all of a sudden, you're that guide, right? You're in that position of leadership for them that nobody else is providing to them. Nobody else is giving them that strategic insight. And so then again, you're just elevated way above tools. So when you're able to get a report card with data like that to them, and then you're also able to maybe throw in a handful of comments around that, like in their next quarterly business review or something. Hey, let's pull up your scorecard. And I just want to show you a couple of things because we have some real opportunities to make some difference in your business right now, X or Y or Z. Again, you have a real opportunity to lead them, and that just puts you in a totally different spot. And backing it up with data
I
just
think if
makes
we
it
all think about
impressive.
this, I think sometimes when we present these things, it's, I mean, at least for me, I'm always like, what's a good example? But just think about every single day. Do you look at any report? Like, do you look at Google Analytics? Do you look at Stripe? Do you look at, and what kind of emails do you get that you always look forward to looking at? Like your Facebook, like page score, or your Google, Google Search Console report, that kind of thing. That's what you're trying to be here for those clients. You're trying to be that really cool thing they get where they're seeing insights into their business. And I think if you can become that thing for them, it's very addicting, and they just do not want to get they don't want to get away from it. In fact, I had an employee yesterday. I got on a call with him, and he's one of my VPs, and he said, I don't know where these reports come from, but they're incredibly useful to me. And he showed me this example, and I was blown away because I don't know where they come from either, but it is incredibly useful. But he's like, oh, I wait for this thing every week, and I'm not even sure how I got on this distribution list. And so I thought that's exactly the type of thing we want to be for these
That's
businesses.
awesome.
And as entrepreneurs, you can automate all this stuff, right? And so it's not like it's great information, and you're not. And fortunately for you, unlike Mike, you didn't have to sit there and manually
manually enter it
to create that value.
Which is, the beauty of that one integrated system. You can get data out of that it's impossible to do when you have a bunch of separate systems. I mean, it's a big mess. Awesome stuff. Let's see here. Switching gears to a couple of questions. I see a few questions around the theme of AI, how you're incorporating it, how you think it's impacting the industry here going forward, kind of just your thoughts on what you're doing with it. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So, okay. So our position on AI is, actually, that's a good question. I let me check the release notes here. Let's see if it went out today. Let me ping my product manager. Our position on AI is that so I see it as actually really yet another great tool, right? So everything that we can do today, done better, faster, cheaper. So we already have it in content. AI is already in the system, so you can generate content everywhere you go. We already the thing that was supposed to launch today and is not in the release notes, so I suspect I'll get some kind of excuse why it's going to go tomorrow. Image generation. So Image AI will go live. And then what I announced yesterday, and then to all of you, and of course I don't expect everyone to sit around and watch my crazy videos, so we'll just I'll just share it like this. We are launching actually there's a bunch of stuff. So a full conversation bot in Highlevel. So this is the settings page right now in Highlevel, and I talk about this in the video, but you can see we have three. I think of it as more of two modes, but you technically can turn it off. Not that you'd want to do that, but we have suggestive mode and we have auto reply. And the idea there is that if you're in a conversation and it'll suggest by looking at the conversation, it'll suggest how you might want to respond, and you can click the suggestion, populate the response, customize it, and hit send. Or you could turn it on full automatic, which is what we're going to do for our account. And then you can choose which channels it's in. So it could be like Facebook Messenger, SMS, WhatsApp, which is coming this quarter, like all of the messaging channels, Instagram DMs, etc. And then from there, we also have the big thing I didn't like about AI when I first saw it was, okay, it can tell me stuff, but like these are sales conversations. I need you to move me to an actual end result. So we're starting with the appointment booking. And so basically what we have is we have this idea where you could tell it which questions you want it to ask. And then once the person responds to those questions, it will then prompt them in this case to book an appointment, and you can choose which calendar. So the idea is like creating this objective of getting the conversation moved to a booking on this calendar.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I think so too. And then all the training,
awesome.
So you can do simple Q&A stuff. So like for people who, and again, we're designing this around this idea that it lives at the sub account level. It's sort of universal to all channels. So you don't have to set up in a workflow or anything. It's very easy to get going. And then here's the simple training where you can do Q&A. So you can say, how much do we charge for replacing a toilet? And then you can put in your answer, right? And it'll teach the bot. And then as soon as this goes live in the next, it'll go live this quarter. So like in the next couple of weeks, we'll also the next thing we'll do is let you use a URL for training. So let's say you have your client's website, you can come in, put the client's website in, hit save, and then the bot will go out and scan the website and use all that data automatically for the training as well. So that'll kind of be one of our first enhancements.
Incredible.
Yeah. So that's conversation AI. And then and then the other big thing is, and also announce this, it's internal currently, but it'll also be out in the next, I think this will be out in the next week, is just a native integration in the workflow builder with ChatGPT. So for people who don't like this, they can go off and do that, and be incredibly, custom, I guess, in their setup. But I think the goal, the general heuristic on AI, I think, is that we should be able to deploy it in all of the same channels we're currently operating in, but allow us to just automate a lot of things that before took a lot of bespoke kind of custom work. And so I think that's, to me, is the big win. We're deploying it internally, actually, for ourselves. We're going to try to replace our web chat on our website with it. And we're also going to we've already started testing it out through the support team, where the support team is using it to try to answer customer questions. And then we're scoring how good the answers are, because my goal long-term is for, even if it's 25%, but 50% of customer service support kind of questions, if we can automate those really well and successfully, I think we're going to crush it. But anyways, in general, I think AI is here to stay.
Well, and this is an extension of the conversation of missed call text back. Like, essentially, yes. Hey, how many conversations are you not happening because you don't have enough employees? Because that's so dang hard right now for every small business. How many conversations are your team or your people having that they're giving inaccurate information or poor service or whatever because the language,
you know what?
Is
I'll tell you though,
a mess.
The number one thing, Mike, is speed to lead to this day.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will date me, but I'm old, so whatever. So my first business I dropped out of college to start, this is really exciting, is an answering service. And I'll tell you why I love the answering service more than almost anything. I mean, Highlevel is definitely better, but what I loved about it, why I fell in love with it, was really simple. I watched these small business owners who would call and sign up with us, and overnight they would like 10x their growth. And really what it was is they were sitting on a gold mine that they didn't even know was there, which is a bunch of phone calls coming in every single day that they weren't answering. And they used to tell them, they would lie to themselves when they called us. They would say, oh, I'm just missing calls after hours. But that was totally false. The vast majority of the calls they missed were like at 10 a.m., right? Like right smack in the middle of the day. And it was amazing by just simply picking up the phone. And here's a great part about it. Our agents weren't trained to do anything except say, thank you for calling Bob's Towing. How can I help you? And no matter what you said, help, I'm on fire, or what time does the office close? It didn't matter. They would say the same thing. No problem. Let me get you some help. I just need to get some information. It would take a message. It would text and email out to the client, and that was it. And yet we made truckloads of money for people because, again, back to this emotional component and psychological component of human beings, we care more about being heard and felt and thinking that people are out there helping us way more than we actually want a solution in 99% of the cases. Yes, we do need our car towed eventually from the side of the road. That is true. But the fact that, when you leave a message on an answering machine, I guess the kids call it voicemail these days, or if they call it all. But, at the end of the day, that signals to us no one cares. So I like AI because I think, especially in the world that we move to with messaging, we can now create that very quick response that's going to be very accurate, that's going to give good information, and hopefully move people down the line, down the funnel to that success point, all automatically on behalf of our customers. So from a nerdy tools perspective, I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yep. That is absolutely awesome. I geek out on all of the AI stuff, but I love that conversational bot. And it's the image generator gang, don't sleep on that too. I was just listening to an agency interview actually, where the agency owner was talking about how much more business they're winning and how much they've been able to speed up their sales cycle, because they're primarily a paid ads agency. But the big, slow, expensive part of their sales cycle was doing mock-ups of concepts in the RFP stage to be able to show them, hey, here's what we would do. And he's like, now that takes us 3 minutes because we just use AI to create a mock-up, and we tell them, hey, this is just a mock-up. Once we actually get moving forward with you, if you like the concept, then we'll get it dialed in. But they've taken days out of their sales response.
I think we'll see this in so we have social media posting today, and I think we'll see this here as well. And then also next quarter, we're gonna release AI funnel building and AI website building. where I think it'll be one of those things where you'll come in exactly like you're saying, Mike. You'll say, it'll be like, what industry is this or whatever. And you'll just say, oh, it's a plumber, it's this or that. Give it a description, hit go. And then boom, you'll get this beautiful pop out of, of AI kind of mock-up website. And yeah, it'll need to be cleaned up and this and that. But again, you're getting to something that someone can see in 60 seconds, not
that's
in
the thing. That
days.
that is exactly how you sell websites to small businesses, is they just need to see it. As soon as they see it, they fall in love. It's like they don't realize how much better they could be represented online until they see a website that's actually, and they see their logo on it and their name on it, and they go, oh wow, that looks good. Yeah. Let's see here. So I pulled up this sheet as a response to the question here. You guys may hear the doggy breathing below me. Sorry.
Did you bring your dog with you?
Yeah, no, this is their dog here.
Oh, okay, that's so cute. I love that.
Cute little dog. So it says, question is, in your ideal snapshot, what outcomes would you include 100% of the time? So this goes back to the question that we're talking about, kind of these fast start things that you could offer anybody. And so I recommend everybody, if you're looking for a starting place way to think about this, I love my service package design sheet here, because obviously it goes right along with the R4 sales system. But one of the things that is so critical to understand from your perspective as an agency owner, you want to get every single customer on the Highlevel platform, generating that recurring revenue, that automated revenue, and delivering tremendous value to them at an incredible price point, because that's how you get a customer for years and years and years to come with great margins. And so when you look at, okay, what are the things that every single small business out there needs? This reputation column has them, right? You've got reviews, you've got a website, you've got Yext, you've got web chat, missed call, text back, call tracking, you've got the SMS messaging, lead capture forms, and then up here, they're taking advantage of CRM, opportunity pipeline management, universal inbox, reporting, task management. So Timothy, when you talk about a snapshot, I mean, essentially, if you just turn on Highlevel, you've got everything in here with the exception really of the website. Like everything else in here, it's just a core function of Highlevel that's already included in there. So again, it's less about the snapshot. It's more about just talking to them about these core things that you can help them with to help them solve their business problems, which their business problems is they're not capturing the leads. They're not following up on the conversations fast enough. They're not returning the calls fast enough. They don't have the information to even see which opportunities they should be following up on, or their team is missing and not following up on because they don't have a good dashboard with all of this happening in the universal inbox. So all of that is just turned on with Highlevel the second you set up an account. So the snapshot, don't get too hung up on trying to get too sophisticated about this, when literally you can turn on Highlevel, fill out the basic information to set up an account, and then a handful of additional values or custom values, and you have all of those features essentially up and running for a business within minutes. So it's less about the ideal snapshot, I would say, and just focusing on those core features, because those core features there, you get a small business up and running on those. Now they're getting calls to that number. They're capturing leads off their website. They have a new website that's hosted by you, maybe or maybe not. That one's optional depending on where the customer's at that time. They're getting all of these conversations coming into a universal inbox. They're filling out their opportunity pipeline in their CRM. Once all of that data is coming into the system, the odds of them leaving go down dramatically, right? The churn, the pain of disconnect is so much higher when you have to how am I going to export all of this stuff out of this system, get into a new system? What is that system going to cost me anyway? Why would I even switch? Because it's going to cost me more or whatever. So just focus on those core features and functions, and focus on the problems that they solve, I should say. But make sure that those things are turned on for every stinking customer.
Okay. So one thing, a couple things. So somebody asked about coupons, by the way. We have that on the roadmap. So don't worry,
Nice.
that's coming. I was going to ask you your thoughts on community. Do you think that's going to be a big thing?
Do I think that's going to be a big thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that community is like one of the core differentiating kind of strategic focuses that a business can have, like in the world here going forward.
And I'm thinking
Like at a
specifically like communities as a feature. Have you seen those? Like a
oh,
circle.so.
um, I think I don't know. That's a good question. At the local level,
Well, and I'm
is that what
wondering
you're talking
as
about?
agents, well, so this is what I'm really interested in, right? It's like at the local level, I think it's going to be tough. You're not going to want to join the plumbers
Yeah,
community, right?
right.
But I wonder though, as agencies, how can we use these tools effectively to create? And I'm thinking, you're such a funny guy because you've got San Diego, right? So you
Hmm.
have this whole local play, right? And it is a community,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
why? I mean, you have a lot of competitors, right? Like, why am I advertising with you, Mike? I could be on Google, I could be on Yelp, I
yeah,
could be on whatever, right? And your pitch would be, well, you don't want to be on those dumb sites. They don't know anything about San Diego. I know about San Diego, right?
yeah.
And that's really truly community. And so I'm curious to see. And then I look at like I get these emails from that place called like Alignable or something, and it's like a LinkedIn, but it's like local only. And so I'm always and then now there's this communities feature, and so it'll be really interesting in my book to see how it, I mean, I see how it works for coaches and
Yeah,
influencers and sort of more globally people, but it'll
yeah,
be interesting to see um, if any of the agencies can make a play for it as a community play that's local
yeah.
to drive like business continuity, connection, that kind of thing.
I mean, there's no question that there's opportunity there. I don't know how big it is versus in terms of like sheer numbers versus like the handful of agencies who capitalize on it really well and then dominate because of it, you know. But it is a big opportunity,
Well,
I think.
there's this one company called Park Bench, and they were brilliant. So they totally understood the idea of selling the feeling, not the facts. So
Uh-huh.
they have an online directory, and you buy into it as a real estate agent. And then what you do is, in real estate they teach you like, oh, we'll go into the dentist or the doctor or whatever. Well, you're not the first real estate agent to do that, right? So the dentist
Yeah,
and the doctor, they don't really like seeing you coming because you got your hand out, right? You're like, give me people, right? So instead, what they do is they get Park Bench and they walk in the door and they say, oh, no, actually, Mike, I'm just here to give you free advertising. You see, I have this online directory. I want to do a profile of you. I want to take pictures of your dentist's office and this and that. And it was remarkably successful because it created reciprocity. Because how is the dentist not going to say yes? And then what happens is you give them links and they share it on their Facebook page and this and that. Of course, no one ever sees it. No one ever goes to it, but it's just this idea that someone's coming in the door to give you this for free. These guys, I
yeah.
think they have like 10 million in revenue as a SaaS company, and they would sell it all annual and stuff. And it's essentially this idea of this like local community sort of thing.
That's pretty
So
stinking smart.
I know it's pretty funny, huh? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so there's that. But yes,
Every
somebody
time we get on these calls, by the way, you share with me these companies that I've never heard of before. That I love that about you because you are a business nerd like I am, and you're always
yeah,
finding these things. And
yeah.
I pride myself in being the guy who knows all of those little things, and you know more of them than I do.
I
That's why I
steal
think
them
that
all from
impresses
Nathan
me.
Lotka though. So definitely, if you
Is
want
that
to listen,
right?
hey,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
that's
because
fair.
love him or hate him, what I love about him is he's like, no, I don't care about like what you did as a kid or like what your hobbies are.
Yeah,
I just want to know, where do you get your customers? How much money do you make? What's your churn rates? Like
yeah,
that kind of thing. So
yeah,
you really get to know the businesses that seem like they've kind of got their act together. And
yeah.
then and that business, I could replicate that thing, like on a weekend from a software
Seriously.
perspective. But what
Yeah.
was really amazing is that guy who started it, he said he would cold call and did all the stuff for years and he couldn't get it to sell. And then Facebook ads were the game changer for them. So he totally outed his marketing strategy. And this was,
Ah,
I looked into this 4 or 5 years ago. I was gonna go into competition with
wow.
it, but I thought it was such a fun model.
I'm gonna go study that guy. This
I
is
know.
awesome. High level is helping making things happen all around the world, which is incredible. What Shaun, how many customers you guys up to now?
Oh, I think the last count was 27,000 direct. And, we're starting to look at it really interestingly. And then it's 500,000 SMBs. But then if you look at it on the user level, which we're starting to look at, and I'll show you why in a second, we're starting to think we're into the millions now. And so it's pretty phenomenal. And by the way, Image AI, hot off the press, you've heard it here first, is now released. They just hadn't dropped the release notes in. So I'll make my own video about this. But for those of you who are interested, it's now released. Skynet. Well, I mean, that's obvious. I want to make sure I'm on good sides with the Terminator when they show up. That's duh. Try to be the
Rob. So
it
sounds like you've got some AI images ready to go right inside of the system. So
that's right.
And Rob, that company that I was referring to, all they were doing was using the OpenAI and Midjourney and just whipping together some concepts real quick and getting them over to the customer rather than having somebody actually design concepts.
Good to hear. DALL-E, we launched with DALL-E today, but we're immediately already moving to Midjourney because it's better.
Midjourney is cool. Yeah. Alex says, can you share with Shaun the importance of offline coupon redemption, native version of coupon tools? Yeah. So, I mean, I've been talking to Shaun about coupon tools for 2 years.
What was the other thing?
So
there was something before that. There was two years before that.
Yeah, that was ConvertBox.
2 years to get the other thing done too.
ConvertBox. Yeah, ConvertBox.
Right.
Which you guys,
finally,
you got those. Yeah, so that's awesome. So don't worry, Alex. It will be coming.
Yeah, it only takes about 2 years, but Mike eventually gets to me. No, the funny thing is, what I know is every idea Mike's ever given me is golden. It just, it's like, it just takes me time to catch up.
They just got to percolate in there a little bit.
Exactly. So do you want to do a quick run through the roadmap? Would that be helpful?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
All right. So I like, we might as well get nerdy. So this was our town hall deck from yesterday. And I'm so lucky now. My team puts together these crazy good looking things. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I know. Okay. So check this out. So we have this big prospecting tool. And this is a big part of trying to help people create physical things that they can use in their selling. And it's very much tilted towards, again, trying to sell, those outcomes and those and that sort of thing, but trying to give them sort of specific information about the business as they walk through. This is the same thing you've seen 1,000 other places, by the way. So I don't think it's anything other, but what we're continuing to do here is not only can you create these reports, but we're also, and share them. We're also trying to, I'm going to get there. Here you go. Enhance it. So, because what we found is a lot of times people aren't searching for a specific business. They're going to, they're going to do something like restaurants near me. And so we're going to make this so that you can see Google ratings, if they claim their GMB, and if they're on WordPress, all with this idea of trying to give you like a quick at a glance look at people you might want to target versus others. So before you dive in and create that more sort of complex overall report, you can figure out your pitch on the way in. So if they have low number of reviews or they haven't claimed their GMB, that kind of thing, just trying to give you the ability to kind of create an attack plan. If that makes sense. Feel free to stop me if you have any questions, by the way. And then there's some other things we're going to be adding as far as like if they have a chat widget on their website, if they have a text-enabled number, if they have miscalled text backs, that kind of thing, just kind of adding some more elements to the report itself. We'll skip through SaaS because there's cool stuff, no doubt, but a little less exciting, just really making that better and easier. That's that. Multi-brand. So we're going to be launching multi-brands here in Q3. So it's the ability to have, I hate even telling people about this because I hate the idea, but we get too many votes on it. So this is like having Dental Soft and Lawyer Soft and IT Soft all in one $4.97 account. Mike and I are on the same page. We're going to tell you don't do that.
Yeah. But you're a saint too. You're a saint, Shaun.
I know. This I'm particularly excited about. This is happening hopefully this quarter. It says July, but we're pushing for June. Inbound calling on the desktop. So really, truly finally becoming that full end-to-end. You can already do inbound calling in the mobile app now via VoIP, but now you'll be able to do it on the desktop as well. I am particularly excited about the call pop. So this is this idea that when a call comes in, it pops up. If we already know the person, it'll tell you a little bit about them. who they are, that kind of thing. And we'll expand it over time in terms of like, if they have outstanding invoices or, an upcoming appointment or something like that. But just the idea to scarily say, thank you for calling Bob's Towing. Is this Mike? I'm very excited about. But I think, so anyways, that's coming here very shortly. I'll skip some of this. Oh, WhatsApp. We are actually, speaking of ideas that took a long time, this took 4 years, and I'm not joking. It took us 4 years to become an actual certified Meta partner. They closed the door on these registrations. Wow. They were not taking people. We are the only person that has been approved for the WhatsApp API, I think, in the last 2.5 years. We are in final. We've written the code. The code is done. We're like in final review testing, going back and forth with our engineering team to kind of get the thumbs up. So the idea here is we're saying August, but as soon as it's ready, we'll roll it out. But we'll now have WhatsApp as a channel, and I think that's going to be massive for anybody who's outside the US.
That's incredible.
All kinds of cool stuff. Just ignore the stuff I flashed past here. I'm just trying to hit the highlights. I didn't do any of this, so I just let's see, database management, WordPress enhancements. Let's see, social sharing, review widgets, all that stuff's going to be great. We're expanding Yext, which I think will be good for some people in like the UK and such. Video tracking is going to be really cool. So video tracking on memberships and being able to actually track like percentage completions and that. Super small, but it works really well into the analytics. You can see right here, like you'll be able to really dial in and see like this person, this course, this progress, what have they done in each of the lessons, and really get deep. I mean, our membership builder, I mean, not to toot our own horn, it's amazing. And I think I would put us up against any of the largest membership platforms out there. Hey, look, coupons. And I think we're getting really, really close. So community. So for those of you who are
I was going to say, your membership platform, just to speak to that really quickly, because I think that's a big opportunity that more and more agencies are going to start capitalizing on and seeing the value in, not just course creator type of people. So
totally agree with
and it is like, I mean, it's already solid. Some of these updates that you're talking about are going to make it like killer.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
We've been migrating. What's that?
We're launching communities as part of that.
That's the integration of all that.
It'll be out this month.
That's awesome. Love it.
And then the way we're going to do this, which I think will be, that's all community stuff, that I think will be really important, is we're going to be launching this is the roadmap for all that. The client portal. So check this out. So imagine that you have one spot for people to log into, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's a plumber, it could be your agency, all types of businesses. And then within that, we're going to encapsulate everything. So the idea is, this is all customizable, so don't get caught up on the design. I thought it looked a little too like membership-y. But imagine you log in. Let me see if I can find like a cooler look of this, and you can access all kinds of stuff. Here we go. So look at that little menu in the top right, and you'll be able to choose which things people see and don't see, what the defaults are, this and that. But imagine you log in and it's like, it could be invoices, it could be payments, it could be courses, it could be communities, it could be document uploads, it could be, all of these different areas represented all in this one login space. So for your clients, think about it as a way for all of their customers to log in and interact with their business. So they could see open invoices, they could go look at they could look at orders that they made, all of this stuff. And then from an agency perspective, think about it as the place where your clients log in and they're looking at the community that you now host for them. They're making payments on their bills to you, right? They're taking a course for training that you've created for them to learn more about this, that, or the other thing. But it's just instead of having to log into 6 different places, we're now housing it all in one spot, essentially.
Awesome.
Okay. I can't see you, so I don't know. So anyways, that's coming out. Let's see, snapshots, all kinds of stuff. So mobile app's going to get a really cool upgrade, but I'm pretty pumped about, nope. Oh, don't play the video. Moving on. Nope. Don't play the video. Move on. Nope. These are all really good enhancements that everyone will love. But the thing I'm most excited about, wow, they did a lot of videos. That's funny. So he linked to another Figma here. Let me pull this up. Is tap to pay. So we're going to be launching tap to pay in the mobile app this quarter. So it's really quite simple. It's like every other tap to pay. So for those of you who don't know this, we've all gone and we've had this experience where there's like a reader, generally like a square reader. Well, Apple is doing away with this, and so is Android. So you now will start tapping your card against the phone itself. So no reader required.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yes. So this is coming out in the mobile app this quarter.
Yeah. That just opens up.
Yeah, so many revenue generation opportunities for so many businesses, and also opens the door for us to get in with a lot of different types of businesses, because there's a lot of businesses that require that it's interesting because because they're doing the whole tap to pay thing for whatever their business is already, but they're not getting any of the marketing benefit of capturing any sort of information and having that be an integrated part of their marketing system at all.
100%.
That is killer.
I think it's going to be huge. Let's see. So there's that one. And then that'll go nicely with, actually it's with estimates and proposals, which are here someplace. But estimates and proposals are coming out as well. Let's see, that's mobile. I had this all, as you can see, I tried to get this all.
Can't you get more done, Sean? Because
I know. I'm really lagging behind here, but estimates and proposals are going to be here as well, because I think why this is valuable to show, if it will open, there we go, is just again, trying to bring this full circle for all types. So our mission now is, we have the marketing front end really well dialed in, and obviously we'll continue to add to that, but we now want to really move into operations. So these are calendar enhancements. These are proposals and estimates. And so this is the idea that, you can come in, if as an agency, you're creating your proposals in here. As a plumber, you're able to come in and create your estimates in here, send them out to your clients, have signatures, all this other stuff. You can see kind of this design and how it's coming out. This will all drop this quarter. So I think there's just a truckload of functionality that's going to allow us to not only continue to market for our clients, but also become that one-stop shop for running their entire business end to end, be it on the desktop or mobile. So just a lot of stuff coming out, and almost all of the stuff I showed you all by the end of this month. So it's going to be a pretty big month for us.
Yeah, that's incredible. We have been here over an hour, and I want to be respectful of your time, Sean, because you are the busiest man on the planet.
And in this particular instance, Mike needs to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to pass out on my keyboard here because I haven't slept in 48 hours. And while I have the opportunity to remind people that if you invest in Highlevel through us, of course, you get all kinds of bonuses, essentially taking pretty much everything that I've developed over the, I don't know how many years now of working with small businesses and selling to small businesses and providing services and all that good stuff, and wrapped it up around Highlevel. And so go there, check out that page, take advantage of all those bonuses if you have the opportunity to. And I would love the opportunity to be able to work with you. Sean, thank you so much, as always, for coming and spending time with us. Yes, and thank you for all that you do, and thank the team for us for all that they do, because it is stinking incredible. Every time we get on these calls, to be able to see the volume and quality of capabilities that you guys continue to add, and it is just stinking fun to watch, man, because in a world where we know that speed is such an advantage for all of us, like, you guys are keeping us able, to move as fast as we possibly can, because I have never seen a development team, seriously, that just like gets stuff done as fast as you guys do.
I have zero to do with it, but they absolutely crush it. There's just no one out there who rivals our dev team. It's pretty insane. I don't even know how it happened, but yeah, I feel so very lucky that I get to associate with these people.
It's awesome. Well, you can see the thanks flooding in. Thank you, Bart. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yes, thank you, everybody, for Brittany says my exposed is for real. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody, as always, for being a part of the community and joining us on these calls, and being smart and coming here and taking advantage of the opportunity to hear from Sean and get some of these insights. We always appreciate it. Appreciate your time and your business. And like I said, being a part of the community. Sean, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And everybody, man,
go out there, dive into these new features, and dive into making sure that you are using Highlevel at your business to its full capacity. That is the best way to get super comfortable and confident with the value that you can add through the system, is that when you know how to use it really well because you're using it for your own business. So dive into these things yourself and then get out there with that confidence to speak at the level of selling, solutions to problems. And that's where all of this becomes dramatically easier. So awesome, everybody. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your day and rest of your week. Shaun, take care, and we will see you on a future call.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.